So, your friend decided that you needed to play BL2, and they went ahead and rushed you through all 3 difficulty stories. They went ahead and got you all of the OP levels, and then they got bored, and they stopped playing the game. So, you decided, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and just play solo with my character. So you load into your own lobby for the first time, and you find out that you are at the start of UVHM. You have garbage equipment, you've got no cash, you've got a whacked out little build going on, you have no bar, we're turning it off, you have no bar, and you don't know what to do with yourself. You're at OP10, everything's spooky, where do we go? So, that's the concept of this run. This is going to be called Stranded Zero, is what I'm going to go ahead and call it. I held a poll for who we were going to play. Zero is the one that took the win there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, one of the very first things we're going to go ahead and do is not walk forward. We're actually going to go ahead and turn around and head towards some DLC. So we go ahead and just run past Knuckle Dragger here. He's going to really try his best to get to you, but it's okay. Go ahead and throw out Deception, try to, get as much distance between us and that guy as possible. We really just want to make it to Claptrap's fast travel from here, and then we can sort of just plan out what we want to do. Initially, what I'm thinking is that we could probably lean into Critical Ascension. That usually works pretty well even with okay snipers, so that has to probably be a good move, right? So we'll go to Lilith DLC, open up some lockers and stuff, farm out some money, and then probably move on to Snowman DLC. So, yeah, you get into Lilith DLC here, and initially what we are going to go ahead and do is just farm out a bunch of these lockers for some items and some money. If we get anything we don't particularly care about, we can go ahead and sell those because, of course, that is more cash, stuff like that. And it's going to take a second. It might take a good couple runs. You can, of course, check this vendor, see if there's anything nice that you like in here. That sniper ain't terrible, but it's not great. So we'll go ahead and just sell everything, save quit, reload the map, and just do that again a few times. Okay, we've got ourselves our first little shield here. I'll probably keep this one on because I'm not really sure if we'll get a better one, at least for a while. So yeah, that feels good. So to sort of cover some of the main things we're looking for while we're here looking for that weapon vendor is if we can go ahead and get a Sniper, or if we can get any decent little Vladov sniper rifles, those would both be really preferred. Of course, if we would happen upon a purple of some type, that would be really insane. But I think we should be okay with some lower tier equipment for right now. The javelins would be good, probably some TD or chucks early, stuff like that. Snowman DLC is full of a bunch of rather squishy mobs, so we are going to probably keep those in mind as well, because we could probably take good advantage of them. Oh, you see, this is unfortunate, because this is a fun looking little sniper. It's got a Jacob's grip, it's got that Vladov barrel. That could be a fun toy if we could afford it, but we just started, we can't afford anything. We will probably get better stuff rather quickly, as the main issue is just trying to push into the base game, where almost instantly you could get something like a Herald, or you could get a Lasco or something like that. But Captain Flint is a really massive threshold, and the general loot farms in the base game aren't necessarily great, so Snowman DLC is where that kicks in. We could possibly take advantage of Unforeseen. That might not be a terrible idea. Honestly, leaning really well into our character's kit would feel really, really good. So, Unforeseen, Kunai, stuff like that, anything that we can really buff. Melee would be interesting. Someone could certainly try it, but I don't think we would really have a good time doing that. So that's not what I'm going to try to do. Someone might be able to, though. So I'm going to go ahead and already call it on farming out this DLC. I've got pistol but better, and then I've got an absorb shield. I think what I want to do is go ahead and roll some of our money into a respec, so that we can go ahead and get things like Death Blossom. We can keep Unforeseen, but we're really going to try to lean heavily into our kit. So we've got Not a great sniper rifle, but considering we don't even have a sniper, that's not terrible. And then how much does it cost to respec? 98k. Okay. So yeah, we can definitely afford to do that. Probably just go ahead and spec out a pretty generic little 0 here. I'm going to go ahead and spec velocity because I'm not going to have a Pimpernel pretty much ever with this run. I'll spec a little bit of kill confirm just to get down the tree, get the funny critical ascension, maybe get, I don't know, ambush could be good if we're invisible. We could go ahead and get a bunch of grenade damage that way if we do end up going that route. Rising shot, we don't have any health regen, so innervate will be good. Unforeseen for its damage, Death Blossom of course, Killing Blow just in case, Grim for the shield, Follow Through for the movement, Execute for the dash and the knockback we could potentially get from it. And then from here we do have 6 leftover skill points, so you could just kind of throw them wherever, finish out that skill because it's not satisfying. And sure, we'll put points into Fearless at this point. Plenty of leftover skills. Now we will have to go ahead and see what our damage initially feels like here because it could be pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Which, like, that's not unexpected, to be fair. But if we just hit some crits, maybe don't let ourselves get farmed too hard, you know, take care of our well-being and stuff like that, shouldn't be terrible. Certainly not the fastest clearing character I've ever made. But that's okay, that's kind of the point. The point is that it is going to be a little bit slower of a run. Of course, building up critical ascension is going to help out a lot, so if we could avoid swapping off of our sniper, and especially if we could just get 4 snipers, that'd be really, really good. A Share of Me, of course, would be great for this build, since it does count as a Moxie while also still being a sniper, so that we could just swap freely to it for healing if we needed it without losing critical ascension stacks. But this is going to work. It's going to be slow, but it's going to work. And then, honestly, since we are playing at OP10, it's not like we need XP or anything, so we could always just run away. Because why would we not do that? We don't need to fight them, they're not mandatory, they're just kind of there to be pests. So you just walk around them too. Especially playing 0 where you can turn invisible. If you are trying to run away from mobs, or if you're trying to get them to essentially stand still, you can go ahead and just spam jump near them. A lot of mob pathing is based off of where the player is on the ground as well. So if one is successful enough at spamming jump, mobs just either stop moving or keep walking in the same direction. Of course there are outliers, especially mobs who have jumping attacks where they leap towards the player. But as you can see, these guys are pretty well okay with me being here. Of course, controller does have an easier time with this for some reason. Something about our inputs are just, like, bigger? Wider? Someone explained it to me like that at some point. I don't exactly know how it works. But something about being on controller, that trick is easier for us. If you were on keyboard and mouse, of course, that might be a little bit harder. But it might be an option for you still. Honestly, yeah, it's Slagnade. Instant Slagnade. Very bad Slagnade. Not even slagging them. Alright, looks like we're using the Singularity. And a big thing that I don't normally use too often will be grenades. Grenades are really, really nice, it turns out, if you actually just use them for a little bit of passive damage. If we could get a fire burst before fighting the big snowman, that'd be really ideal. That would give us a lot of damage over time on him. It would keep him getting hurt. Stuff like that, pretty much. Anything that can help your situation is good. Also, getting enemies to fight each other instead of you. This is also good. One thing you do need to keep in mind when you're in this area is that this BA Yeti can be broken by proximity. If you get close enough to him, he will go ahead and lose himself, and then you can try to take advantage of him being hostile towards the bandits as well. So that's a little bit of free DPS for you. Also, it gets rid of a big problem enemy as well at the same time, so it's very much worth it. Of course, we can still try to go for melee kills, especially if it's an enemy like a Psycho. So just another thing to keep in mind on that. Went ahead and got a transfusion from this chest, so I am probably going to prefer that over the Singularity, even though it was nice because it did allow us to corral mobs together a little bit, get some boar and some kunai spread out, stuff like that. But just being able to play the video game and not die so hard would be nice too. Oh, I'm not getting back up. Oh well. Yeah, this will happen. Death is just a natural part of this game. Honestly, it's OP10. We have like nothing. I was trying to circle around a Goliath to break his shield and pop his helmet off while also dealing with psychos. Not a surprise. Alright, there we go. Got the Goliath's helmet off. Now he can hopefully distract them for a little bit while I go look at this loot chest up here. Looks like one guy doesn't care, so I'll just do that. And we've got a fight for your life duration thing and a doll magazine size. Probably won't take advantage of either, but that's cool. Now, if I had kept a skyrocket on our character, of course that would have been a really nice option, but I feel like that's a little bit too unfair to the idea of the challenge, because I could just throw skyrockets at every single problem. I just now realized the objective updated, so I don't even need to kill this guy. Kinda just took too long and the game is just letting us have a free pass. I'll take that, sure. Yeah, one really nice thing about these snowmen is the fact that they do move rather slowly and consistently. So being able to hit them in the head is a pretty consistent little practice, as long as you're not like, well, missing like I just did there. And then they're pretty easy to line up against each other, if you do want to go ahead and try to do that for the boar chains that you could pull off. Of course, after a few stacks of critical ascension, and especially if we can keep our ammo topped off with these little boxes and stuff, we're going to start to really ramp up our damage quite well. I think critical ascension takes 5 minutes to wear off, something like that. So we should be able to maintain these stacks pretty well through a single combat area. Of course, getting shot and losing my entire health bar is still very much a threat, but it's okay, because we can make them shoot each other and lose their own health bars. Alright, for Big Snowman, we bait out the first attack, and then we go and respectfully sit over here, and we're going to use him for a little bit of a friendly boost. Of course, you could go ahead and climb up the normal way, but I'm just going to do it this way. And now we just kind of start shooting him. I might switch over to keyboard and mouse for this even, just to track him better. But this is the whole plan. Now you might get tiny snowmen during the fight. That's okay though, you can just kind of ignore that, or just shoot them in the face, especially if you have a lot of stacks of critical ascension. So it's not a big threat, they're just kind of there, and that is a thing to keep in mind. And once our ammo reserves get low enough, just open a couple boxes, not too many though, you don't want to waste some of your ammo potential. And you just keep shooting the man, because like, why not? And we're already done. That's simple as it could be. Opened 3 presents to get more ammo. Didn't need to do anything else beyond that. And then you could deal with the baby snowmen, or you could just take the hat off and then just go live your life and be happy without doing it. But by this point I have a lot of critical ascension stacks, so I can just kind of just get rid of them, even without matching element or a decent sniper or anything like that. It's just really, really nice. Ooh, that's a way better sticky longbow transfusion. Okay. So the only way this could be better is if it were a slag or a 0 fuse for me. So that's really, really nice. We've got a higher damage. It's a slag sniper, but it is a sniper, to be fair. So we can go ahead and use that. That is nice. And then after you do your kill, go ahead and check Snowman chest. And then, honestly, you could just repeat this farm as many times as you wanted until you just got done. You were satisfied with the amount of loot that you have, with the amount of scraps and random resources like that. Of course, I do plan on taking this character at least through the base game, and then maybe through a raid boss like Terra. So I will, continue, because why not? But this is just a thing. This is basically your threshold. Go ahead and grab some of the other stuff in here, just because it is worth a lot of money. We don't have any, so anything like rocket launchers, anything like assault rifles with torque barrels, especially Jacob's cannon, stuff like that, will be a lot of money. So just hoarding items will be a great decision. Alright, so yep, just gonna, repeat kill Snowman 1 or 2 more times. We are doing pretty well. I would love to get a fire sniper and then maybe a better, like corrosive, something like that. Just a couple flavor options for the most part. Anything like that would be cool. Alright, so we've got 2 bonus packages. I'm not running anything that changes drop rates right now. So that's interesting. We'll go ahead and keep 1 rocket launcher on us. A better non-element sniper is always appreciated, so that'll be nice. And that's probably it. So from here, we are going to try a little bit of a funny strat. Go ahead and grab that spy comm as well for the unforeseen. We might be able to use that too for some damage as well. But we're going to go ahead and try to go to Tina DLC to farm out the first 2 chests to get a rogue class mod, because I was just reminded that exists. Thank you, Gunther. And it sounds like a great idea, because why not at this point? Okay, we're going to test out some science while we are here. Theoretically, you might be able to just hop this wall and then never fight Bony Pants guy, and then just go farm chest instead. So we're going to try to travel through that door and travel back out and save quit and see where the game puts us. If it does spawn us at the door, we can farm, no problem.
Hey, are we done now?
Alright, so at the door, go ahead and save quit here. And we're at the fast travel. Okay. Well, that's fair. So we just need to get rid of Bony Pants guy. Okay, so Mr. Bony Pants guy has hands, it turns out. So we're going to have to treat him with at least a little bit of respect here. Probably not too much, but, just enough to actually be able to walk forward. I could try to do the first playthrough strat, where we bring him over here to the rock golem. Yeah, let's try that, why not? At the very least, it'll give us a distraction, and it might thin out some of the herd around him. So that's not a problem to me. That sounds like a great idea. Alright, there we go. So, we got most of his teammates distracted by this rock golem. Mr. Bony Pants walked up right here and just sat AFK. And we just sidestepped a couple throws, pop him in the face until he just evaporates eventually because critical ascension. Not terrible. Okay, so we've got a true neutral and we've got a critical and mag size one. So this is really nice for us. Of course, it does two-fang, which we could work with if we really wanted to, but I don't want to have a chance to shoot. If I were to spec two-fang, I'd want to have the Shadow Relic 2, but we have it. It gives crit and mag size, and then the velocity is also pretty nice since we aren't using a pimp once again. And then we do have the true neutral over here, which buffs like the wind, and then velocity, and then two-fang. So if we need that extra mag size for some reason, we do have that there. And now our 9 mag gun is a 19 mag gun. We can hold many a bullet because we got a stockpile relic from the Marcus DLC. Now we're probably going to go get a B shield since, you know, we're in the DLC. The trees are right there. Might as well do it. Hey, ooh, wow, that's a really nice recharge delay. Okay. So obviously not like the best parts, but about as fast as it can get. So that's really, really cool. We will be able to use this forever. This is going to increase our damage substantially. So this is really nice. We could just go push the base game from here. I would still like a fire sniper though, so if we happen upon one, I will be very happy. But we'll be okay without one. So, of course, normally I probably wouldn't recommend you just crutch on a B shield when you're playing through on 0, especially, because, you know, his survivability is pretty low. But if we go ahead and maintain ourselves pretty far away from everybody, if we just, you know, take care of our well-being a little bit, it shouldn't be a bad idea for the run. If, at the very least, it's going to provide us a lot of damage. Especially if we get about halfway through the game, we could potentially get something like a Lyuda, or just equipment like that that would really, really help us out. So, should be fine, hopefully. Okay, so yeah, entering the actual game now. Probably might not even need slag after a couple shots, especially while the B shield is up. As long as I can actually, like, shoot a guy in the face here. Maybe I should play on keyboard and mouse for this run, apparently, since I am on snipers. But if I can just, like, hit some shots, we would be A-okay. Yeah, no, we're gonna be just fine now. Get off the thing. Don't burn me, please. Don't tag me. Thank you. Don't burn me. We just talked about this. Oh, that's not. I can't. Well, I can do this. Gonna burn ya. Please don't. Hey, Thunderball Fist. Alright, so I farmed out this vendor for a couple more seconds, just because why not? Got this nice little guy here, Jacobs with the Jacobs, and the more Jacobs over here. So this should feel pretty good. Of course, it doesn't have a crit prefix on it, which we would have preferred, but it's over double the damage of that Vladoff we had. And ammo economy is very important for us right now, since we are so poorly geared. Well, I say poorly geared. We're wearing a B shield. It's just that our guns are weird. Wait, couldn't I... Wait a minute. Let's take a couple pointers from the Fight for Your Life playthrough. Nice. So we did get a sticky longbow singularity somewhere along the way. We're taking good advantage of it here, kind of taking inspiration from our Fight for Your Life lands playthrough. Unless Lilith just absolutely distracts this man. And basically, the entire strat is for him to walk down here, get baited by that, and then hopefully leave. Like that. Okay. So, yeah, turns out, if you just use the items the game gives you, and also take advantage of the environment, these mobs simply do not exist. So that feels pretty good. Of course, I am going to go ahead and stop here on day 1 of this character. I don't know if this will take another day or 2 days. It kind of just depends on how lucky we are with stuff. I do think our in-game build is going to consist of 4 Lyudas, 1 fire, shock, corrosive, and slag. So that might take a little bit to farm out, at least with the equipment that we have here in terms of damage. Of course, the B shield's going to be talking a lot, and it's going to be doing a lot of the work. But that's about it. That's the entire plan. The only upgrades I intend on getting are Lyudas, and then the rest of the playthrough should just be a good walk. So, yeah, day 1.